go again?
Oh, no, not again.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Dom, how long have we been doing?
Once more unto the breach. Dear friends.
Again and again and again until we're both dead.
Hello, welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews and connections in mind. Black Adam is the latest film in the DC Extended Universe. It is a long time coming, but is now out in theaters. It is directed by Jean-Colette Serra, I believe that's how you pronounce it. If not, I apologize. And it stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Teth Adam, a man who lived in ancient times who got imbued with the powers of Shazam, but was locked away for 5,000 years until the modern day. And now that he is out in the world, he must now battle between his rage and the world trying to contain him once again. Now, this video review will contain spoilers of Black Adam, as well as certain other things. I'll be doing my spoiler-free thoughts first, however, so just be warned there will be spoilers later on in this review. But first and foremost, let's get into some spoiler-free thoughts on Black Adam. Is it a good comic book movie? It's a good movie in general. Is it a worthy addition to the DC Extended Universe? I would say yes. However, this is probably not the best DC film that we've seen in the more recent canon. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because first and foremost, this is a well put together, I feel like, very action-centered comic book film. And really, this is kind of a throwback in a lot of ways to comic book movies of the mid-2000s, early 2010s, and this is not to be a shock because this script has been bouncing around for a very long time. I believe the thought of wanting to do a Black Adam movie has been bouncing around since at least 2007, if memory serves, and that definitely shows in a lot of this, this movie, from the banter between certain characters, the way Teth Adam / Black Adam interacts with the world, the way that the script is written in a lot of instances. There's a lot of scenes that very much feels like a mid-2000s comic book movie, and for someone like me who really enjoyed comic book movies in the mid-2000s, I mean, I'm one of those people who think Spider-Man 3 is not the worst thing in the world. I was really excited for that, and I also really enjoy the first Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. These are the kind of things that you see, and for in a lot of ways, this is one of those origin stories that it relies maybe a little too much on, I'll nix the maybe. It relies a little too much on flashback sequences to fill in the gaps, and also non-linear flashbacks to go to explain a lot of things, and non-linear in a way to disguise the twists that come with the reveals of certain things. And one thing, okay, yes, it was a little bit of a twist, but the other thing, I will say, this movie starts with the flashback in ancient times, introducing the character, and one character that they deliberately film them so that they're not that they're looking away from the camera, and they never see their face. It's like, we know exactly where this is going, so this is not so much of a twist when it finally does come. And the only reason that it's kind of surprised that I was a little bit surprised in the theater is because it doesn't revisit this reveal for so long. I think it comes back into play in the last 15-ish minutes of the movie, that I'd almost generally forgotten that was something that they were setting up. And then there are other things that they set up that you think are going to be paid off later in the movie, but they only get paid off in like maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, and it's kind of surprising. I'll touch on, I feel like that's a bit more of a spoiler in a sense, but I mean, the one that's less of a spoiler is, when Teth Adam finally gets into the modern world, he sees playing on TV The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Specifically, the final Mexican standoff scene, and you think, oh, this is going to be, and you see him kind of holding his hand in such a way that he's emulating, Clint Eastwood with his hand by the holster. You see that happening, and you think, oh, this is going to come into play later. But no, it's paid off like less than 5 minutes later when he faces off against a bunch of random goons in this town. So it's like, oh, okay, but then doesn't necessarily come back into play the rest of the movie. So there's some weirdness that goes on with the writing of the story, and I feel like the other sorts of weirdness comes with, and this weirdness intertwined with awesomeness, because in this movie we get the Justice Society of America, which is Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher in this movie. And I knew only tangentially about, I knew of older incarnations of Dr. Fate and Hawkman from a comic that I have, but not where they've been taken recently. I knew nothing about Atom Smasher and Cyclone, and these are more or less fun characters to be around, but you don't get a whole lot of sense of where they came from, or you'll get just enough to keep going with them, but it doesn't feel like they really necessarily pay off so much. Really, Hawkman and Dr. Fate get paid off way more than Atom Smasher and Cyclone. They're just kind of there to balance out the team, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a bit of distraction when this is really supposed to be Black Adam's story. So really, overall, I would say this movie is a bit of a mess from that standpoint, trying to balance out these characters, and when we get down to the villain, the final villain of this story, because there's actually a villain of it, even though Black Adam is billed as kind of an anti-hero in that he's trying to be a hero, but then he ends up murdering a lot of people, so there's that going for him. And the villain is not necessarily set up very well at all. I feel like it would be a lot better if it was kind of an ethereal thing, but then that wouldn't give us the third act giant CGI battle, so we get a personified villain, and he's just kind of, yeah, he's that villain who's just strong enough to present a challenge to the hero initially, but then the hero goes full god mode and by the end, and then that's not really a spoiler, because these are tropes that we've seen so many times in comic movies. Like I said, this is a throwback to those earlier kind of comic movies, and if you're a fan of those, I think you're going to enjoy this. And if you're not so much, you're tired of it, that's going to be a bit of a tiresome thing for you to sit through, and that might hamper your enjoyment of this movie a lot. So I would say overall, Black Adam, if I was going to give this a letter grade, I would say this is a solid B. There's definitely some things holding it back, and this is definitely not the best movie of the DCEU that we've seen so far, but I would say what they how they leave things going into the future, I'm very much curious to see where we go with this character. And I didn't mention it before, I'll say it, but I'll say it now. Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam does a very good job. This is very much in his wheelhouse. And, if he didn't pull it off, the movie would definitely not work. So the fact that he does pull it off does a lot of the heavy lifting in this movie. So those are my spoiler-free thoughts on Black Adam. Now let's get into some spoiler talk as to certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. Now, I feel like I said, the finale of this movie is very much a thing that we've seen so many times in the past, but specifically, you've got, the battle for the city or the country, and the populace is the key factor. I was getting a lot of vibes of Avengers Age of Ultron, sort of, with this, fighting for the city, even though the city fares a lot better than Sokovia does in Age of Ultron. However, there's also a dynamic here of Hellboy, where you have the sky beam that unlocks the gates of hell, so to speak. There's that comparison, but let's all be fortunate that this movie ends up being a lot better than the last time Dwayne Johnson played a character battling an army of the dead from and the climax is around hell mainly. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there it is. So even though I'm a particular fan of this movie, I think that this movie, Black Adam, is much better than this. So let's just leave it at that. Also, you get this dynamic of the young mentor dynamic, which you saw in Shazam, which is no surprise because, you know, Shazam and Black Adam have the same power set. They have the same basic storyline associated with them. So it makes sense they recreated that dynamic, but there's also a dynamic that we've seen in a lot of things. I think the more close comparison to be had is, you know, the young kid finds a superpowered, I won't call him alien, but they're alien in the sense of he's new to this world, so to speak, and you've seen that in a lot of things, but the comparison I'm making is with the Iron Giant, and you know, the fact that the kid has to now teach this man who is essentially a living weapon to be good and use his powers for good, and relearn how his role in defending this homeland. So there's that element to it. And finally, I will say that, you know, comics, these things will happen. This is more of an observation that I had with the character of Atom Smasher. Now, I don't know much about Atom Smasher in the comics world. I just know him from this movie. So looking at it from just this movie, the way they wrote to this character and the fact that his main power set is to grow really big, it feels like they were trying very, very hard to replicate Paul Rudd as Ant-Man in this character. So, I mean, again, there's the same sort of power set, you know, between Ant-Man turning into Giant Man and you know, Atom Smasher growing really big here. So there's a bit of understandable things that may feel very similar in the comics. I could be wrong. That could be how he is. But the other thing that was just really distracting to me is the fact that Atom Smasher's mask. I know Moon Knight did something similar with the mask and the white eyes or whatever, but the fact that he's got the red suit as well, and he's kind of the easygoing, wisecracking member of the team. It just felt really distracting that Atom Smasher's mask just looks like Deadpool's mask painted blue. So maybe that's just me, but to me that was just really distracting to me. So not a huge ding on the film, but just something that I couldn't shake throughout the whole movie. So, I mean, overall, yeah, this was a fun movie, and like I said, I like where they're going with it in the future, and I will say I did get chills with the mid-credit scene with Henry Cavill's Superman coming back, and it's like, yes, he's back. We don't have to do the thing where, you know, you just have the neck down with the Superman costume, where they could have very easily have done that, but no, Henry Cavill's back, and I'm like, yes, let's do this. I'd love to see them face off against each other. So, anyway, what did you think of Black Adam? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree, disagree? Did I miss something? I probably missed something. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next movie review, which will be for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which comes out November 11th. As well as my next TV reviews, which will be for Season 3 of Star Trek Lower Decks and the first season of Andor. So, all of that coming out on my channel very soon. If you liked this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching, but just remember, there is nothing new under the sun, and yes, you have seen it before.